Chloe Peterson says, sources confirmed to me, Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August the 7th. So Caitlin Clark basically got hurt again. How did she get hurt again? I don't know. It's definitely looking hella spooky right now, because if Caitlin was hurt and supposed to have been not doing certain things, how do the Fever organization allow her to get?
They told us Caitlin Clark was untouchable, the golden child of women's basketball, the player who would never break down, never fold, never miss a moment. At Iowa, she was invincible. 4 straight years of playing every game, carrying her team night after night without so much as a limp. In her rookie year in the WNBA, she did the same, logging minutes like a machine.
The odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place. Just to there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell what is the payout for somebody who bet, oh, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions, what's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs? Indiana Fever reporters, beat writers, pawns, whatever you want to call them, they are suddenly reporting an August 7th ankle.
As if her body was made of steel and her legs were carved from marble. But now, just 1 year later, that image of indestructibility is shattered into pieces, because Caitlin Clark isn't just hurt, she's unraveling before our very eyes. A quad strain, a groin injury, another groin injury, and now a bone bruise in her ankle, reported weeks after it happened like some carefully concealed state secret. Fans are left confused, angry, and betrayed. And the question everyone is asking isn't just when Caitlin Clark will come back, but if she will come back at all. How did the most durable player in college basketball history suddenly become a walking injury report in the WNBA? That's where the story turns dark. Clark's left quad strain was the first crack in the armor, a 5-game absence that had Fever fans uneasy, but still hopeful. When she returned,
kind of reiterate with her, just, hey, it's okay, take your time, there's a big picture we got to think about here?
Yeah, and I think just the experience throughout the year, trying to come back and come back quickly, has also taught her, that she needs to make sure that she's 100%. And yes, every competitor wants to play. But at the same time, doing it the right way and making sure after we've had a couple of setbacks that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important
She
thing.
silenced the doubters with a 32-point explosion against the defending champion New York Liberty, a performance that reminded everyone exactly why she was the most hyped women's basketball player in history. For a brief, shining moment, it looked like the storm had passed. But then the left groin injury hit and everything changed. 4 more games gone. Her numbers dipped, her shot looked off, her rhythm was broken. Still, fans told themselves it was temporary, that Clark's toughness would carry her through. But then came the right groin injury on July 15th, and suddenly optimism turned into dread. 13 consecutive games missed, her longest absence ever. And every update from the team felt more like smoke and mirrors than truth. Then, as if fate hadn't punished enough, reports surfaced weeks later that Clark had tweaked her left ankle in a workout on August 7th, suffering a so-called very mild bone bruise. Mild? Tell that to Fever Nation, a fan base watching their superstar fall apart like a house of cards. And here's where things get suspicious. Why did fans only learn about the ankle injury weeks after it happened? Why did it take reporters digging and whispers from league insiders before anyone told the truth? Caitlin Clark isn't just any player. She is the heartbeat of the league, the face of the franchise, the biggest star the WNBA has ever had. If she had tweaked her ankle, why wasn't it reported immediately? Why did the organization stay silent while fans clung to vague statements about her timeline?
Stuff like, why tell us now? None of this stuff is it's not making sense, man. I mean, this organization, man, it's being run like a mom and pop shop, bro. Like, God, like, what is going on? What is going on, man? I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. It's just flat out, it's absurd. I don't even, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's liars. We can't get the truth about anything. There's a video of Caitlin Clark trying to jog. She looks awful just trying to trot. I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is terrible. I told y'all, bro, it's a wrap. I don't want to say it's a wrap. I told y'all she's done for the season. It's a wrap.
Indiana beat writers and insiders suddenly looked less like journalists and more like pawns protecting a storyline that didn't add up. And fans weren't having it. Social media exploded with theories, conspiracies, and outrage. Some believe the Fever are hiding the true severity of her injuries to protect ticket sales. Others think the WNBA itself is pressuring the franchise to downplay her condition, afraid of losing its only mainstream draw heading into the playoffs. Whatever the case, the truth feels buried under layers of half-statements, denials, and carefully worded press releases that never say what people need to hear. The Fever's championship dreams have turned into a nightmare. This was supposed to be the year. The roster was built. The hype was unstoppable. Season tickets were sold out before the season even tipped. Indiana fans believed they finally had the squad to make a deep playoff run with Clark as the engine. Instead, they're stuck watching practice footage, reading injury reports, and wondering if their star will ever touch the court again. The cruel irony is that Caitlin Clark wasn't supposed to be fragile. She was the Iron Woman, the player who never missed a game. And yet now, in her early 20s, she's collecting injuries like trading cards. It's heartbreaking, but it's also infuriating, because none of this was inevitable. It was preventable. And that's where the spotlight turns not to Caitlin Clark.
Crazy. They can't see all of these fouls and flagrants that's happening, especially when it comes to our precious CC, Caitlin Clark, at the end of the day, but they have time to pay attention to your podcast and finding you. You know what I'm saying? Because of you calling them out on they miss. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about them jive turkeys like they would say in the 70s. At the end of the day, keep it to yourself. Even if you did know when Caitlin Clark, aka my precious and our precious CC, was coming back, which we know she's not coming back. She's out for the rest of the season. She needs to stay out for the rest of the season because of this organization. And the WNBA is a whole catastrophe.
But to the WNBA itself, let's not sugarcoat this. The league has failed to protect its biggest star. From the very first moment she stepped onto a professional court, Caitlin Clark had a target on her back. Jealous veterans, frustrated defenders.
Caitlin Clark is the most covered player the WNBA has ever seen. So if she had an injury or tweak something or hurt something almost 2 weeks ago, you probably think we would have heard about it by now, right? Right. Scott Agnes reports Fever All-Star guard Caitlin Clark tweaked her left ankle during a workout in Phoenix, league sources told Fieldhouse Files. Chloe Peterson confirms this. Sources confirm to me that Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle. A tweak, bone bruise, forget
Players
it.
who couldn't match her talent decided to test her physically to see how much punishment she could take. And instead of stopping it, the league let it happen. We all saw the cheap shots. Marina Mabre shoving her to the floor, upgraded to a flagrant only after the game. JC Sheldon clawing at her eyes. A move that looked more like something out of professional wrestling than possession after possession. Clark took hits that should have been fouls, should have been suspensions, but instead were brushed off by refs who seemed more interested in controlling podcasts and media criticism than actually controlling the game. Lisa Bluter, Clark's legendary coach at Iowa, called this months ago. She warned the WNBA that if they didn't protect Caitlin, if they didn't start enforcing the rules with real penalties, they were going to destroy the league's brightest star before she even had a chance to shine. But the league ignored her. They were too busy counting the ticket sales, the jersey sales, the national TV ratings that Caitlin Clark brought in. Protecting the Golden Goose never crossed their minds. And now the goose is broken, sidelined, maybe for the rest of the season. That's negligence, plain and simple. Then there's the Fever themselves.
Injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice. Well, what changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seem to point in the direction of Clark
returning. Head coach Stephanie White has been accused of hiding the truth, stringing fans along with empty answers and vague statements that say nothing. status quo? Day to day? We'll see. Every time she's asked, the words change, but the story never gets clearer. Fans are furious, calling her dishonest, saying she lacks integrity, pointing to past incidents where she misled the public about other players' injuries. And when it comes to Caitlin Clark, the stakes are too high for this kind of deception. Fans aren't just disappointed, they're angry, and they have every right to be. They bought tickets, they invested in the hype, they supported the team through years of irrelevance, and now they feel like they're being lied to. Meanwhile, Caitlin's teammates are dropping like flies. Sophie Cunningham out for the year, Sydney Colson torn ACL, Ari McDonald broken foot. The Fever's roster is crumbling around Clark, leaving fans to wonder why anyone would risk bringing her back at all. Is it worth throwing her into the fire just to cling to a playoff spot, especially if she's not fully healed? Or should she be shut down for the year to protect her long-term future? That debate has taken over social media, with fans split down the middle. But here's the thing.
And Stephanie White, because she keeps covering up and doing lies, and I find her very deceiving, and she lacks integrity. She don't tell the truth. Remember, she covered for Dewana Bonner, saying she had personal reasons and didn't tell the truth about it. And then she lied about Caitlin Clark's injury, where it was a lot severe than it was, but she said day to day, kept stringing a carrot. And then once again, she lied again and didn't say a word about her being hurt, getting her ankle hurt. What's up with this team being like very deceiving and not telling the truth and not like being transparent with the fans? Like, people love Caitlin Clark. They want to know what's going on. They're worried about her groin injury. Is she getting better? Is she not? You know, we're all thinking,
this
she
isn't
might
just about Caitlin Clark anymore. It's about the WNBA as a whole. Without Clark, without Angel Reese, without Cunningham, the league is starless. The storylines have dried up, the highlights are fading, and the WNBA is scrambling to stay relevant without its ticket seller. Even off the court, chaos reigns.
Storylines in the WNBA dump have been non-existent since Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been injured. Now, with Sophie Cunningham out for the season, there are literally no stars in the WNBA. It would not surprise me if the Indiana Felines were being pressured by either the WNBA Players Union or the league itself, hell, maybe both. It wouldn't surprise me if the Felines were being pressured to get the Roo from Waterloo back on the court. But like I've been telling you guys for weeks, Caitlin Clark is not coming back this season.
Security concerns, bizarre incidents, controversies that make the league look unprofessional. And in the middle of it all, the one player who was supposed to carry them into mainstream legitimacy is sitting in a trainer's room, dealing with injury after injury, while the league spins excuses. Caitlin Clark's sophomore season is slipping away, and the WNBA has no plan B. What's worse is the reality that nobody wants to admit. This was preventable. Every single one of these injuries, the groins, the quad, the ankle, could have been avoided if the league had done its job, if officials had called the fouls, if the culture of targeting hadn't been allowed to fester. Instead, the WNBA let Clark become a punching bag, let her absorb hit after hit, and now they're reaping the consequences. The tragedy isn't just about one season. It's about a career that could be permanently altered. Caitlin Clark was supposed to be entering her prime, building on her record-breaking rookie year, carrying Indiana toward a championship, and leading women's basketball into a new era of mainstream attention. Instead, she's learning what it's like to be fragile, to be vulnerable, to be human. And that might change her forever. The countdown is on. The regular season ends September 9th. Playoffs begin September 14th. And every day that passes makes it less likely that Caitlin Clark will return. Analysts like Rachel DeMita are already saying the quiet part out loud. She's not coming back. Not this season. Maybe not until the next. And if that's true, then the WNBA's biggest star just went from unstoppable to unavailable in the blink of an eye. Fans are left with more questions than answers. Will Caitlin Clark ever be the same again? Will the Fever risk her future for one desperate playoff run? And most importantly, will the WNBA finally wake up and protect the players who keep their league alive? Because if they don't, Caitlin Clark's story won't just be about injuries, it will be about a league that failed the one player who saved it. This wasn't just a setback, it was a catastrophe. And the worst part? It didn't have to happen.